having communication about money. Money is the number one reason why people get divorced. Over hundreds of thousands of dollars spent on advertising.
I saw a post on Facebook where you have $0.28 in your bank account. And so how do someone like you go from almost being broke to making that amount of money and then actually stacking it and keeping it?
Where I actually struggled though was that I hit myself burnt out in the first year. The best type of way for you to get a client like that on board is
I spent the last couple of days talking with successful entrepreneurs because I wanted to know how much are you making right now per month and how are you making it? Because if there's a 16-year-old watching this right now who depend on making money in the next 3, 6 to 12 months and going online and building an online business, how can we help them for free on YouTube? And so I interviewed these people, I brought them on the show, and I asked them all the questions that I wish I had when I got started that isn't just in a course for $5,000. Instead, how can I help that younger me with everything from pricing, positioning, building my portfolio, getting clients, finding them, so I don't go through the same mistakes that they went through. And so that's what this show is. So let's start with one of my fascinating friends, Chris Benetti. All right, Chris, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And so my question was, how much do you make per month and how do you make it?
Yeah, for sure. So in Australian dollars, we're roughly 40 to 50,000 a month at the moment. We've got a pretty small team and we're still increasing our clients every month by at least 2-ish. So our retainers are kind of building up and, we started this business just around 12 months ago.
So Chris built a multi-6-figure agency, not just building funnels, but doing the whole ecosystem. And I talk a lot about sales funnel ecosystems and working with people front and back end and being like a consultant more so than just a freelancer or even an agency. So I had questions about how did you pick the author space? How did you come about finding those clients and then scaling it from 10 to 20K, 30K, 50K per month?
I was actually fortunate enough. I hustled my ass off in my first year, 2018, when I started my business, and we did probably about 300,000 in revenue. So okay. I was kind of like initially got myself to 20K as fast as possible. But it was with one-off projects. It was with, having to find new clients every single month. And it's probably a lot of the stuff that you have taught in your full-time funnel designer program. I just wasn't doing it with the guidance of someone like you. We didn't have anyone back then.
Yeah, we didn't. We had to learn everything.
We didn't have any Gustens back then. So I kind of had to figure it out and get there myself. But, I was kind of fortunate enough to be able to do that. Where I actually struggled, though, was that I hit myself burnt out in the first year. And so my second and third year in business was like 150. So that's going back to that 10K per month kind of range. And I kind of got stuck there. And so coming out of that and into the following year, I actually had hired a mentor and he taught me some really fundamental lessons. We're still working together now. Okay. And that was, you need a niche, you need recurring revenue services, and you need something that's a very clear and easy offer to understand. And so for me, why I am not a big fan of people who say, just work with anyone, just do this, just do that, offer X service to any single person who will take you up on that is, first of all, it's very hard to predictably sell to anyone. Yeah. You don't really talk pain points to a specific avatar. And so it's very hard for you to go to someone on the street and sell them on their service because, the problems that you might talk about aren't necessarily relatable unless you're talking to a specific type of person. Yeah. That's why niching was very important for me, so that I could have a very clear service and offer and talk about pain points to a specific audience. It really helped me to also further develop my marketing message so that I could start a podcast around it. I could get very well known in that space. I could find other providers who were complementary to my service and have them come on as referral partners for me as well. So, think publishers, think people who do Amazon best-selling campaigns, but not ongoing marketing, which is what we provide, or even other marketers who do other marketing services, but not ongoing, funnels and Facebook ads like what we do. It was really helpful for me to become well known and an authority in the space, just by niching down. And now if you go on Facebook and search book marketer or sell books or whatever, like you'll pretty much find my name right away.
Now, there's a lot of people who are freelancers, agency owners, and consultants. And so when you go into the marketplace, it can sometimes be hard to position yourself in a way whereby the clients look at you and say, that's a person that is irreplaceable and I need them on my team. I have to have them on my team. And therefore you're able to charge more and keep your clients for a longer period of time.
Yeah. So for me, it really comes down to relationships and results. And so like, if I can prove that I can get results for people similar to them, then it makes it very easy for them to see how I can get results for them. And then to further that, the best type of way for you to get a client like that on board is another trusted authority recommending you as a service.
Now, with the rise of AI, there's a lot of opportunities with AI softwares, AI agencies, and automation, that sort of thing. But what most people aren't understanding truly is how to use AI in anything you do so that you sell an outcome, not a feature, and then you incorporate AI into what you do so that you can write faster, you can get more outcome in your productivity, you can save time and make more money for your clients. And it's not so much about the service that you're selling, it's about the outcome in the conversion and the revenue for your clients so you can help them make more.
Yeah, we use AI. We like to create what I call a book persona for each of our clients.
So good.
So, we prompt GPT as an example with the right things so that we can kind of create a chat that can give us any information, marketing information around the book itself. So that, if we need to write emails, if we need to write ad copy, or at least, from a starting perspective, draft, I should say. If we need to write sales pages or elements on a sales page, it's all there. It's all pretty obtainable. And so like, we don't necessarily copy paste anything. It's just allowing us to create a persona that can kind of give us information that's like 85% good that we can then tweak and roll out for our clients' campaigns.
There's also a big trend right now with white label softwares where you can create a real asset that you can exit, you can build recurring revenue, it's more passive income, where someone else has coded and built the software. You can white label it with your own logo and you can sell it to your customers, your clients, and get that payment coming in every single month. You can sell it as a software, SaaS, software as a service, or software with a service. So we sell software plus funnel bill. So we charge upfront $5,000, then we have $97 a month for the software. We charge CRO, conversion optimization, and emails on a weekly basis to just stack those services on top of each other, because we have that one specific industry, course creators and personal brands that we help scale their expertise online.
I think a software is viable if you have an audience and you know how to market the software. Without that, you're probably going to waste a lot of time and energy before then. And so like, if we look at all the people who have successfully white labeled a software, which I think is a fantastic idea if you have said audience, if we look at every single person, like if we look at, Kathy Olson and Julie Stolian, if we look at yourself, if we look at Peng Joon, if we look at any of the guys who have successfully white labeled high level in this example and rolled out their own version, it's all because they've had someone to sell it to, either organically, email list, or they're somewhat of an authority in the space where they can get people recommending their software at a level of scale.
And then importantly, for someone who, like me, who have kids, I want to know how successful people think about spending time with their family, building a business that fits their lifestyle, and not just becoming a slave to their business.
Having a good relationship with your spouse, your husband, your wife, whatever boat you're in, having a good relationship with them and communication about your business, having communication about money. Money is the number one reason why people get divorced in the world. And making sure that even if they're not on board with, decisions necessarily, you have the open communication about that and expectations around certain things. And so like, I would really, really strongly encourage you to have good boundaries around working and having communication around that. And so like, what I do these days is I'll work in the morning. I'll take from like 11:30 to 2 p.m. off work. 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. off work, so I can spend time with my family. I'll do a few more hours in the afternoon, and then I'll take the evening off completely, no work at all. And it really creates good boundaries. I spend a lot of time with my son. I spend a lot of time with my wife. We get fantastic time together. But then we also communicate about like, hey, this is what's happening in business right now, and this is why I'm a bit anxious, or this is why I'm a bit stressed. So I've got a lot of work on. Can I work a little bit more today? Maybe I'll work an hour later in the day, or maybe I'll work an hour later in our family time. And just making sure that you guys are on the same page with everything, so that there isn't confliction, so that your husband or wife doesn't go, oh, you're not spending any time with me, it's all about the business. You don't want to have a relationship. I don't know about you, but that was a big, really, really big issue for us in the early days of business, because when you're starting business, you get excited. All you want to do is work on the business.
I was also curious, what's been working the best for Chris and his clients? What type of funnels? Why this one specifically? What about the front end, the back end? Because if you know how to make your clients more money, you're able to make more money for yourself as well, because these are similar skills, but also they're going to keep hiring you for new projects, new funnel builds, or whatever it is that you're selling. And this is the same in any business that you're running.
Yeah, I mean, just being a funnel guy and having that background, I naturally understand offers. And so as someone's working with me, and, if we determine that we want to set up a book funnel for them, you're not just going to get someone to buy your book and then end the conversation. Usually we're going to put some upsell offers in place. We're going to look at other things that we can do to offset ad costs. Now, I don't naturally lead with that conversation, but it is something that will come into play when we work together, so that, ad spend isn't so much of a big deal. We're, really bringing that down so that we can spend more money on ads to acquire more people to buy a book or get our book, which basically creates more opportunity for my clients on the back end. And so when they work with me, I know what works with book offers, as the next thing. And so I'll work with them on how do we come up with ideas for that? What do you already have? How can we reposition it? How can we potentially create something new by bundling a few other things? And so, it's just a process that we work through.
One of the key points here that I want people to capture is the power of referrals, because not everyone become good at something. Some people are lazy, they don't put in the work. But if you decide to put in the work and you become skillful at that one specific thing, then you no longer have to force lead generation, because you can get people who you get results for, get you 2 more clients. And then you get this ripple effect of every single client gets you 2 more and 2 more. And that only happens if you're really good at something, which means that you can't do everything. You niche down into one thing and you're able to do it really well. And you can also systemize it and productize it and scale it with a team, because you have the SOPs and systems for that one specific either funnel type or video type or copywriting style or deliverability, where it's predictable and it's not 10 different types and everything is custom for every single client.
So this goes back to me creating myself as an authority in the space and connecting with referral partners or JV partners, just having an open conversation about like, hey, you obviously handle this part of the book process. Maybe it's publishing and a bestseller campaign. It's like, hey, what can I do to be a recommended and trusted provider for the next thing? Like, obviously they're going to need to ongoingly market their book after they've done their launch. Otherwise, why would they write the book? It doesn't make sense. And so like, if they can recommend me as just a natural next step to them, and by the way, book publishing and bestseller campaigns can cost up to $60,000 to $100,000 sometimes. So it's not cheap. It's going to be a natural progression and it's going to make sense. And then, suddenly, I don't really charge that much in retrospect to, some of those kind of campaigns. And so it seems like a pretty logical next step.
And I'm a big believer in multiple streams of revenue, but I also think it can become a distraction. So I had questions about Chris's thoughts on diversification and building out those income streams.
I would say that my main focus is always the agency, just because it is such a cash cow. And I do love the perspective of creating additional streams of revenue. I do also think that it can be distracting at times. So I think for me personally, it's build one stream to a certain point and then diversify if you want to do that. And for me and my history and path, it's always been agency and services, because it's pretty easy to do. And if you can get results for someone, then it's pretty easy to build up referrals and credibility in the marketplace to then continue to sell your service.
Now, Chris has sold 15,000 books, which is a lot of books, and he's using 21 different creatives. So I had questions about his mindset, thought process behind coming up with creatives, the ads and things in the marketing to actually get results for your clients. Because most people just focus on getting clients and not knowing how to get results for them.
Yeah, so systems are very straightforward, as you would expect. Pretty much every single thing that we do is cross-transferable to every single client we work with, no matter what industry they are in. And so it's kind of like picking and choosing what we need to do for them. And so, for me, we've got our go-to templates that we've proven and validated over hundreds of thousands of dollars spent on advertising.
Yeah.
So, we always start with those. And then we've got about 60 other templates that we've created that we haven't yet validated that we can roll out for clients as well. And this is from an ad creative template perspective. As a new client comes on board, the first thing I do when they sign up is, hey, book a tech onboarding call so that we can get access to your systems, your funnels platform, whatever it is. I'm not biased to anything. So we can get access to your Facebook ads, so that we can get access to your email platform, and just make sure that everything is confirmed. So that's the first thing I'll do with someone. The second thing is I'll get them to complete a questionnaire about their book. This is literally just like, hey, give me a summary of your book. What are the 5 main reasons why someone should read your book? What are the 10 best things inside your book, and what page are they on? And then I just ask them a few other questions like, what's your Amazon listing, and all of that kind of stuff. And basically from those questions, I can create a sales page. I can create ads.
And we ended the show with what I think is super important, which is kind of like the mindset you would give to someone else. Because it's not just about making more, it's also about giving back to other people and young people. So I had questions about how to sort of give the mindset advice, maybe some mistakes, lessons learned previously that you could take and give to someone, maybe 10-year younger self, or your future kids watching this video in 15 years from now. Like, what would you tell them?
Business is a hard game, takes determination. And there's a reason why there's only a small percentage of successful businesses, because it's a lot of work. It's harder than anything else you do in life. But if you succeed, if you make the moves that you are supposed to make, you'll have a very, very, very big gain from it, not just financially, but also emotionally, intelligently. You'll ultimately be able to create a life much better than anyone else who doesn't even try. So you're playing the hard game, but it's the most rewarding one as well. So have fun.
Agree. So there we go. Hopefully this was helpful. If you have any other questions or people you want me to bring on, just comment them below, and I'll see you in the next one.